Jehovah Witnesses partake in the Hebrew Israelite culture? Like,
No, see, Jehovah's Witnesses are represented all over the world, and we are wherever you live, you hold to your culture. Like if you were born over there, you would do certain things that I wouldn't do here. You know, just based on your culture, the way you were raised. Like I've had the opportunity to visit Jehovah's Witnesses in Hong Kong. I visit them in Hawaii,
mm,
and Hawaii, as a matter of fact, just last year, and the many different islands that they lived on in there, they have, matter of fact, they gave background information, dances mainly by the way of the, they do the hulas, but all those dances that they do, they have meaning, and they interpret, uh, well, conversations through dance. So, uh, Jehovah's Witnesses hold to their culture, but uh, what we hold in common is the Bible, and we adhere to the principles and laws in God's Word.
all right. And like, isn't the Ten Commandments God's laws?
Yes, part of God's laws. But
So,
associated, one thing people don't realize that associated with the God gave not just Moses 10 Commandments, but over 300 and over 300 different laws and commandments, and that's why it truly was impossible for them to keep it. All those, not just 10, but over 300.
well, yeah,
Yeah, as part of the law code or the law covenant. And Jehovah knew that. He knew that they couldn't keep it. So he made a provision, and the provision was his son that he sent in behalf of mankind to save us from sin and death. And Jesus provided a ransom that corresponded to what was lost by Adam.
So didn't Moses kill a Hebrew?
Uh, yes. No, I don't. Well, let's see. We can find out. And, he killed uh, in Exodus.
Because like that would be like a contradiction if Moses
Yes.
got the Ten Commandments with God but killed a Hebrew. That would be a contradiction.
In what way?
Because in the Ten Commandments it say, or the 310, it says, "Thou shalt not kill." But Moses killed a Hebrew.
Well, now the person that Moses killed, why did he kill him? That's not. Let's see. Where's that account at? Let's
Mm.
see.
Also in Exodus they talk about the 10 plagues on Africans. Like, it was 10 plagues on Africans. They said that Jehovah was responsible for.
The plagues on Africans,
Yes.
specifically Africans,
Mm-hmm.
for what reason?
It says it right in Exodus. It says it was a plague of gnats, a plague of blood, plague of frogs, plague of flies, a plague of livestock, a plague of boils, a plague of hail,
Oh yes, yes, yes. That was
a plague of locusts, a plague of darkness, and a plague of the firstborns.
hmm
Which, and that, I think Moses was responsible of killing babies as well.
Well, those plagues were directed at Pharaoh and the Egyptians.
Those plagues were directed at
At
Pharaoh.
Pharaoh and the Egyptians.
Wow. So Jehovah did that to the Africans.
To the Egyptians. If they were Egyptians and Africans are different.
No, they're the
They on the
same.
same land.
Huh?
They on the same land.
Look, like right here.
All right. Well, let's reason then this way. Why did Jehovah send those plagues on, as you say, the Africans? Why did he do that?
Hey.
I'm not sure.
Because they had oppressed his people. They were living as slaves, as
How?
in bondage for
The Egyptians.
no, the Hebrews.
Oh,
The
okay.
Hebrews were living as slaves, and that's why. And Pharaoh wouldn't let them go because he knew he had a good thing.
What pharaoh they talking about? Because it's like thousands of pharaohs in Egypt.
Yeah.
That's true. That's the word for ruler. But
No.
And really, in Mayuneche, the language they speak over there, pharaoh means temple or building. It doesn't mean Lagud. They were referred to him as Negas or Nasut.
no, see, I'm not a Hebrew or Egyptian scholar. I'm not that, but I am a student of the Bible and everything that.
But the Bible teach Egyptology.
Well, it may do, but see, I don't focus, and Jehovah's Witnesses don't focus on what would you call it, Egyptology? If I'm saying it right.
What the Bible teaches
What would
teaches
you call it?
Pharaoh in Egypt. Egypt.
Egyptology? That
Yeah.
means the study of Egypt.
Okay,
Right.
the study of Egypt. Well,
Mhm.
see, the Bible doesn't specifically focus on the study of Egypt. The Bible really is God's word to man, telling us how we can get back what was lost by Adam. And that's just in general. And the Bible has a theme. And the theme of the Bible, when people read the Bible, they pick up the Bible and read it, but they don't understand it because they don't understand that the Bible is a book that has a theme. And it all centers around the kingdom, God's kingdom or God's government that Jesus taught us to pray for in the Our Father, Lord's Prayer. Our Father which art in heaven, hallowed be thy name, thy kingdom come. So what is a kingdom? The kingdom really was the focus of Jesus' ministry. And Jesus taught us to pray for the kingdom to come in why? Because it represents our only hope. So every book in the Bible focuses on that kingdom, what it is. The first prophecy in the Bible, Genesis 3:15, it says that God's woman, it will crush the head of the serpent and utterly destroy the serpent eventually. Well, how will all that happen? Who would prove to be the seed of the woman in Satan's seed? Well, the kingdom, it answers that question. Ultimately, God's woman produced Jesus Christ, who is king of God's kingdom, who ultimately became king of God's kingdom. In the book of Daniel, the 7th chapter, it focuses on that king and how he received rulership ultimately. It tells us about a scene in heaven. And there's not too many books where we can read and come to see or understand what exists in heaven. But that's one book, Daniel the 7th chapter. And Job is another book that speaks of Job chapters 1 and 2, the angels in heaven and how Satan and Jehovah had a discussion, and Jehovah allowed Satan to not tempt, but persecute Job, his faithful servant. But the Bible is a book that's designed for us to get to know Jehovah and to serve Him. That's what it is.
It says right here that God promises deliverance.
Yeah, He does, and He promised deliverance. Where are you reading?
That's still in Exodus about the 10 plagues. So
So who was delivered?
they said no. They said that He promised to wipe out the Egyptians.
Yeah.
So
And,
like,
and again, why?
that's what I'm saying.
Why did He promise to do that? What did they
I don't
do?
know.
What did they do that was bad enough?
I mean, Moses learned all the knowledge and wisdom of the Egyptians.
And it also says in the Bible, you were foreign in Egyptian's land, so love them as your brother. That's in Deuteronomy.
Yeah. So that's, what I'm saying, that's a contradiction.
I don't understand, like, what is Jehovah's specific reasoning for just targeting the Egyptians?
If you
Yeah.
read the history of the persecution of the Hebrews while they were in Egypt, you would understand more.
Moses he's a Hebrew, right?
Yes.
And he murdered one of his own kind, didn't he?
That part, I was looking for that account. I didn't find it.
Because before he found Jehovah's, Jehovah gave him the 10 Commandments, he was living as an Egyptian.
Right. He was raised as an Egyptian.
Right. All the wisdom and knowledge of the Egyptians.
Because Pharaoh had said that all the babies that was born would be put to death, and the reason for that was because the Hebrew women, they were producing children, males, more than what the Egyptians was. So Pharaoh, he could readily see that he would be outnumbered, and that possibly they would be able to destroy them. So that's why he said came up with a plan to get rid of all the Hebrew children before they got to any size.
But when Moses would have died going down the Nile.
Yeah, he would have.
So,
but he was rescued.
By who?
By Pharaoh's daughter.
So the Pharaoh that they were talking about in the Bible is Pharaoh Ramses or Pharaoh Seti.
Right.
I'm not sure which one. I'm not sure.
They were using those names. That was
yeah. Pharaoh Ramsey, Pharaoh Nico. But I don't know which one it was. I don't have no detailed or.
I was just trying to find like a time period for Moses.
Yeah, but
so we can go in history and see what he documented.
Yeah.
Can I use your restroom?
No, yeah, sure. Just right quick.
Check this out, family. This what happened. What niggas get the butt running. They can't accept the facts. They catch these niggas all the time.
Show them that R.B.G, bro.
You already know. It's that new stuff. To the map. Let's talk about. We gonna get into the map, but first, we trying to figure out why he really hate these Egyptian African people first. And once we pull that out of him, it's gonna get crazy.
Slaying of the Hyksos.
You heard him. Hey, Roo.
Hit me up, fam. R.B.G.
We using they doctrine though. This nigga be professional.
I don't know, someone left the door open. I pushed it too. I
Oh,
don't
it
know if
was
they-
probably my brother right there.
Okay.
Thank you. Closing it up, though.
But yeah, we just trying to figure out why Jehovah like targeted the Egyptians out of all the nations in Africa.